Hey internet friends, we're just gonna read a little state propaganda today. No harm in that, right? After all, what purpose does state propaganda serve if it never gets read? I say that because everything's so sketchy on the internet. YouTube has this new policy that aims to take down videos that question the integrity of American elections. And me personally, I totally agree with this policy. They should absolutely take down any videos questioning our sacred electoral process. That has never been meddled with, not once in US history, except for the time those pesky Russians got involved back in 2016. This right here is what saving democracy looks like. So let's begin. Time magazine released this article entitled "The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election," published on February 4th, 2021, and written by Molly Ball, author of Pelosi, a best-selling biography of the first woman Speaker of the House. Between that little tidbit and the title, you know this thing is going to be good. This is a very long article detailing the conspiracy between left-hand activists and the corporatocracy in the days after the election, and what Molly describes as an extraordinary shadow effort dedicated not to winning the vote, but to ensuring it would be free, incredible, and uncorrupted. Well, that just sounds great, right? Not gonna lie, kind of a sketchy clickbait word choice for the title, but we don't judge here. Shouldn't we all be in favor of an honest election, even if the suits and the libs get together to selflessly secure the outcome? Of course we should. Molly writes, "It is the story of an unprecedented, creative, and determined campaign whose success also reveals how close the nation came to disaster. Every attempt to interfere with the proper outcome of the election was defeated, but it's massively important for the country to understand that it didn't happen accidentally. The system didn't work magically. Democracy is not self-executing. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told. Even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information. They were not rigging the election, they were fortifying it. And they believe the public needs to understand the system's fragility in order to ensure that democracy in America endures." Notice the word choice here. We ain't rigging it, we're fortifying it. A well-funded cabal, in fact, is fortifying it. A shadow effort, in fact, is fortifying it. In fact, there's a conspiracy to fortify it. In fact, there's a secret history behind the fortification. These are terms QAnon followers have been using for the past 4 years. Cabal, shadow effort, conspiracy, secret history, throwing it right in your face here. It's the next passage that summarizes the entire story for me. Their work touched every aspect of the election. They got states to change voting systems and laws and helped secure hundreds of millions in public and private funding. They fended off voter suppression lawsuits, recruited armies of poll workers, and got millions of people to vote by mail for the first time. They successfully pressured social media companies to take a harder line against disinformation and used data-driven strategies to fight viral smears. They executed national public awareness campaigns that helped Americans understand how the vote count would unfold over the days or weeks, preventing Trump's conspiracy theories and false claims of victory from getting more traction. After Election Day, they monitored every pressure point to ensure that Trump could not overturn the result. Quote, "The untold story of the election is the thousands of people of both parties who accomplished the triumph of American democracy at its very foundation," says Norm Eisen, a prominent lawyer and former Obama administration official who recruited Republicans and Democrats to the board of the Voter Protection Program. So what do you think, internet friends? Are they bragging? Are they admitting to the thing that everyone knew all along? That the election was rigged? Side note, how do you expect to have a respectable election when the people you're voting for are all criminals? We won't wait around until somebody has a good answer to that. It seems like folks are taking two very different meanings from this article, which reemphasizes the ever-growing point that two people can look at one event, situation, or fact, and they have two totally opposite takeaways or interpretations of reality at this point. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to my favorite part of any article, the comment section, to see what the other side is thinking. #TrueBlue responded to the article saying, what I'm reading suggests many people, including corporate America, worked hard to make every vote count and encourage as many people as possible to vote in a free and fair election. Okay, that's one take. Jennifer said, "Nowhere in this article does it suggest the election was rigged." Okay, Jennifer, comma. However, many believe that Time magazine was admitting to rigging the election in the article, and when these individuals took to Twitter one day after the article was published to express such a view, the fact checkers swooped in, wasting no time at all. Gotta make sure these people aren't misinformed. We can't risk that, y'all. For me, this little piece of propaganda reads as a self-congratulatory message for a job well done. It's a less than humble brag about how they changed laws and took control of the flow of information on the internet. I don't think you can ever say it's okay for media to conspire together to sway mass opinion, even though that's what they do every single day. On a certain level, I don't get it. Do people have Stockholm Syndrome? Why do they love their abusers so much? This is my opinion here. Just take it for what it's worth. There's no saving democracy because there never was any democracy. We had a republic. Whatever is left of our republic is being destroyed right in front of our faces, and they're bragging about it. And the way we judge their efforts is, well, we can only look at who was elected and what they have done and plan to do. Who holds the highest office? Joe Biden, who's been the Vatican's candidate for 40 plus years. A lifelong Zionist, the DuPont family's drudge in Delaware, and the guy who introduced the Patriot Act back in the 90s. We've been saying for a while that Biden is the deep state candidate, the guy the CIA put forth as their pick, and in the first few days of the Biden administration, what has happened? What number executive order are we on? The price of oil has skyrocketed. We're back in Syria. We're sending battleships to China. We're constantly provoking war with Russia, and now we have a plan on the table to legalize 11 million immigrants. It really seems like the QAnon saga was a total and complete farce to distract and pacify the group of Americans who pose the most threat to the new abnormal. And that group of Americans is our veterans and their families, Christian people. People who could have actually changed the trajectory of where this country is going, but instead they were instructed to rely on the people behind Q to take down the shadow government. Compound that with the last year of lockdowns, and the call for people to self-isolate and not to do what they've done for all of history when faced with tyranny. Meet together in houses, pubs, bars to discuss what's happening and how they can stop it. The people who wrote this article are fine admitting to fortifying the election because they assume they've neutered you to the point of total inaction. You're too busy going to work and paying your debts and watching Netflix to do anything about overthrowing any kind of shadow campaign. You'll just vote in the next election and not say anything about it. Between the Capitol rioters and QAnon believers being labeled domestic terrorists, anyone loosely affiliated with Trumpism or patriotism is swept up in the great dragnet of wrongthink. It's like they're rubbing it in our faces. You can't even quote the article on Twitter without the thought police shutting you down. It's peak cancel culture and I guess, in a way, peak fortification. Now, I feel like I'm ending this on a negative note, but I don't really know what else to say at this point. I cycle through thoughts like we can make a difference and create a better life for our children when we address the corruption and aim to create change, and then that morphs into, I'm gonna buy a bunch of land, build a compound, like a bunch of barn-dominiums specifically. I wanna live in a barn-dominium, I think they're so cool. Move all my friends and family there and barter goods and call it a day. Like Waco, but minus the polygamy and hopefully a lot less feds lurking around. I want to know your thoughts, internet friends. You know I always look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and supporting my channel on Patreon. Bye!